I have been here at every one of these things. Boy. So yeah, I started when I was about 5 years old. That's right. Yeah, and we're going to dedicate this year's celebration to our late Abe Lincoln reenactor Michael Krebs, who passed away suddenly a few weeks ago. So God bless him. And, my name's Chris Sayre. I'm going to start with some music from the Civil War era. It's not all Civil War music. Some of it is just some of the popular music of the time. And that's kind of how we do this. And after I'm done, our fabulous musician David Marsh will be performing from 1:30 to 3. I'm going to be here till 1 o'clock. So I get to start the festivities, and then we'll have a little celebration at 1 o'clock. And I think the cake is available anytime, Mary? Mary? Is the cake available anytime people want it? Okay, so yeah. So you don't have to wait for us to sing happy birthday at 1 o'clock for you to have some cake, folks. It's brunch. You know, it's brunch. Anyway, it's great to see y'all, and we're hoping we'll get some more folks up here. We got some really nice kids from Lincoln High who are in the back there, the best school in the state, if you don't mind me saying, my alma mater. Anyway, there's they put all those beautiful balloons up, and they'll have some stuff going on back in the back there. We have some reenactors here, lots of great people. The Humanities Nebraska, we're going to hopefully have some folks from the Homestead National Park show up. And yeah, and these folks over here are busy cutting cake. So I'll get started with some music, and I'm trying not to be too loud because I want people to be able to talk and do stuff. So this is a song I'll start with that I like to do. It was one of the most famous songs from early in the war. The story goes that when people heard this song, they were anxious to sign up for the cause. So it's a little song by the famous composer George Root, and it's called The Battle Cry of Freedom. So this is my version of The Battle Cry of Freedom. We will rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We will rally from the hillsides, rally round the plains, shouting the battle cry of freedom. The Union forever, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star. We will rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the cry of freedom. We are springing to the call of our brothers gone before, shouting cry of freedom. We will fill the vacant ranks of our million free men more, shouting the cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah! Down with the traitor and up with the star. We will rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We are springing to the call from the east and from the west, shouting the battle of the best, shouting the cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitor and up with the star. We will fill the vacant ranks of 1,000,000 free men more, shouting the cry of freedom. Now most of these songs I'm going to do the short version because they have like 20 verses. We will welcome to our numbers the loyal, true, and brave, shouting the cry of freedom. And although they may be poor, not a man shall be extored. The cry of freedom. The Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah. Down with the traitor and up with the star. We will rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the cry of freedom. There it is. That was a very, very, very popular song. Yeah. Okay. So, I'll do a couple more since I have my mandolin up. We're going to go back a few years before the Civil War, but this was a song that was definitely around during the Civil War, where the melody was even used as a march tune. And this was the #1 song of 1853, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and you all know this one. It's called Wait for the Wagon. This was hugely popular back in the day. So, let's do it. Gotta remember what key I'm playing today. I don't have all the authors of all these songs written down. I just kind of know the years they've showed up. So. And it goes like this. Won't you come with me, dear Phyllis, to yon blue mountain free, where the blossoms are the sweetest? Come right along with me. It's every Sunday morning when I'm by your side. We'll jump into the wagon and off we will ride. And it's wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Where the rivers run like silver and the birds they sing so sweet, I have a cabin, Phyllis, with something good to eat. Listen to my story, it will relieve my heart. Then jump into the wagon and off we will start. and it's wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Now together through life's travels, we'll travel till we stop. If we have no trouble, we'll reach that happy top. So come with me, dear Phyllis, my dear, my lovely bride, and jump into the wagon, and off we will ride. And it's wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, wait for the wagon, and we'll all take a ride. Yes. What a great song that is, yeah. What a catchy little tune. No wonder that was the #1 song of 1853. What's that? Well, now you're going to get technical on me, aren't you? Well, I'm thinking back in the 1850s, you know, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was kind of a box wagon. But who knows? I bet there were more than one kind of wagon back then. I bet there were, just like there were cars, you know. I know Studebaker Motors started making wagons, or, you know, they turned into a car maker, but I think they started as a wagon manufacturer back in the 1850s as well. So it could have been a Studebaker. You never know. Okay, I'll do, let's see if I got one more for you on the mandolin, and then I'll start playing some of these other instruments. Hey folks, be sure you walk around and check out the stuff. You'll hear me. I mean, you're not going to be able to get away from me. You know, this isn't that big of a room, so, you know, whatever you want to do, but I'm just telling you. You sure want to check out some of these nice exhibits. And don't forget the cake. So let's see. Abraham Lincoln would have been 214 years old because he was born in 1809. Is that correct? Is my math correct? Yep, I think so. So 214 years old. But there's plenty of cake. Yeah. And we have water. If you need something to wash down the water, it's all free, folks. So don't hesitate. So here's the song that I love to sing that kind of comes more from the African American tradition of the Underground Railway. And one of the most famous songs that came out of that period is a tune called Follow the Drinking Gourd. And so I'm going to do my little version of that. Now, I'm going to be here till 1 o'clock. I'll probably take a little break in the middle, just a short break, because I'm not as young as I used to be. Just going to say that. That's all you need to know. Don't have to say any more, especially for all you men folk. When the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. If you follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. if you follow the drinking gourd. Oh, the river banks makes a very good road. Dead trees will show you the way. Left foot, pig foot, traveling on. If you follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. If you follow the drinking gourd. The river ends between two hills. Follow the drinking gourd. There's another river on the other side. If you follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd. Oh, the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. If you follow the drinking gourd, when the sun comes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. If you follow the drinking gourd. And of course, the drinking gourd was the Big Dipper. So, yeah, that's one of the most beautiful songs. Okay, so I'm gonna get my guitar out and play a few tunes for you on my guitar. I've got a button accordion that was around during this period. Believe it or not, they were first brought into the world in the 1820s. So by the 1850s, 1860s. There were a lot of those little button accordions. I've got a concertina. My dulcimer, I'm going to do some tunes. That's kind of my banjo for today. Dave Marsh will be up later. I'm guessing he'll do a little banjo for you. And yeah. So thank you guys for all coming out today. This is a nice way to get things started. And these nice folks over here are going to be cutting the cake probably till it's over. We'll see. Anyway, I'll be right back. Do a few tunes for you on that. It's going to take me a little time to adjust between the instruments. That's just the way it is. Thank you. You'll still hear me.
Sure will.
This is a Martin. Yeah, it's an Adirondack. It's kind of a variation off a D28. Yeah, I've had this one forever. I'm doing my best to wear it out. I don't know if it'll outlive me or I'll outlive it. We'll see. So this is, I'm going to do you a song that is one of my favorite Civil War era songs from 1856. And this song changed a lot of minds and hearts. You know, in those days, there was a great debate in our country about slavery and its role in our society. The abolitionist movement was growing quite a bit by then, especially in the North. And this song really, it's based on a true story written by a guy named Russell Hanby. And it was either him or his father. They both were composers. But I think it was this guy who later on in his career wrote that song, some of you know it, at Christmas, called Up on the Housetop. Reindeer paws, you know. But this is a very beautiful, beautiful tune, I think. And it's based on a true story. So. Can you hear the guitar okay? Is it coming through? All right. So this is called Darling Nellie Gray. I just love this song. It's kind of sad, though. Not all these songs are going to be happy. There's a low green valley on the old Kentucky shore. There I while many happy hours away, a-sittin' and a-singin' by the little cottage door where lived my darling Nellie Gray. Oh, my poor Nellie Gray, they have taken you away, and I'll never see my darling anymore. I'm a-sittin' by the river, and I'm weeping all the day, for you've gone from that old Kentucky shore. One night I went to see her, but she's gone, the neighbors say. The white man has bound her with his chain. They have taken her to Georgia for to wear her life away, as she toils in the cotton and the cane. Oh, my darling Nellie Gray, they have taken you away. I'll never see my darling anymore. I'm a-sittin' by the river, and I'm weeping all the day, for you've gone from my old Kentucky shore. There's a low green valley on the old Kentucky shore. There I wild many happy hours away, a-sittin' and a-singin' by the little cottage door where lived my darling Nellie Gray. One more time. Oh, my poor Nellie Gray, they have taken you away. I'll never see my darling anymore. I'm I'm sitting by the river, and I'm weeping all the day, for you're gone from my old Kentucky shore. Such a beautiful, touching song. Yeah. So again, that song really kind of struck a chord in 1856 and started changing people's minds about slavery and the whole institution. So, yeah. So I'll do a happier one.
Photographers here, is it okay if you use a flash?
You're not using a flash? They don't use a flash anymore.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah. I'm blind anyway, Diane. All right. Well, there's a lot of songs during the Civil War that are kind of sad about the soldiers coming home and or the families that are left behind. But this one is one of the more positive ones that I like to do. And it's one of the most famous. This was written by the Union bandmaster Patrick Gilmore in 1863. So kind of right in the middle of the Civil War. And he borrowed an old Irish tune that's very, very sad, called Johnny, I Hardly Knew Ya. But this is one of the more uplifting tunes that I like to play from this era, and a lot of you will know this one. You can help me on the chorus. It's called When Johnny Comes Marching Home. The only thing I have to remember is put it in the right key. That way Mary can still hear my beautiful voice at 1 o'clock when we're... So yeah, this is a very iconic melody. If you want to dance a jig, you could do this, because it's in a jig rhythm. And see, I do 4 verses. That's probably enough, don't you think? It'll take me about 10 minutes to get through it. So here's my version of When Johnny Comes Marching Home. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, we'll give him a hearty welcome and hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies, they will all turn out, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. So I'm going to use that verse as the chorus. The old church bell will peal with joy, hurrah, hurrah, to welcome home our darling boy, hurrah, hurrah. The village lads and lasses say with roses they will strew the way, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah, we'll give him a hearty welcome and hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer and the boys will shout, the ladies they will all turn out, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. Get ready for the Jubilee, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give our hero 3 times 3, hurrah, hurrah. is ready now to place upon his loyal brow, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give him a hearty welcome, then hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer and the boys will shout, the ladies they will all turn out. We'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. Let love and friendship on that day, hurrah, hurrah. Their choicest treasures then display, hurrah, hurrah. And let each one perform some part to fill with joy our warrior's heart. Then we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. One more time. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give him a hearty welcome, then hurrah, hurrah. The men will cheer and the boys will shout, the ladies they will all turn out, and we'll all feel gay when Johnny comes marching home. That's a classic. Yeah, that's a great tune. One of the most famous. Don't forget to get cake, folks. And lots of displays, lots of nice people that are willing to talk your ear off about all this history, which is a good thing. So I'll do a few more on the guitar and play some other instruments. I'm just kind of jumping all over the place, aren't I? Well, let's do another kind of a pretty one. This was one of the favorite songs for the Southerners, and it was well known throughout the country. And this one came out in 1857, and I've shortened this one because, I don't know, Dave, maybe you do all the verses to Lorena. You do Lorena? Yeah. So this is one, many years ago I was doing this event, and I had somebody come up to me and say, well, you know, you got to learn Lorena if you're gonna do this kind of stuff. And so I went home and I thought, okay. And so I worked it up. So I'm going to do you my version of Lorena. And this is a great example. The kind of music that people loved back in those days was very, very sentimental, incredibly sentimental, and yeah, the lyrics are almost like singing Shakespeare. It's can be kind of different.
John Hartford recorded it.
Yeah, John Hartford did it? Okay. Yeah. We were just talking about John Hartford last night. You know, he wore a hat like this. Yeah, I loved how he did. Did you ever see him live? Yeah. He came to Lincoln, played at Pershing Auditorium once with the Lincoln Symphony. Were you there? This was years ago. And yeah, a bunch of us, we had a table and we were there, and it was really fun. Anyway, so I'm going to get my finger picks back on, because this is one of those that I'm going back and forth doing some lively tunes, and some of these might put you to sleep, folks, but that's okay. So, so this is my version of Lorena. I only do 2 verses. I think there's at least 4 or 5. It gets a little redundant. I mean, the guy is obviously pining away for Lorena, so we can only say that so many times, right? creeps slowly by Lorena. The snow is on the grass again, and the sun's low down the sky, Lorena. The frost gleams where the flowers have been, but the heart throbs on as warmly now as when the summer days were nigh. Oh, the sun can never dip so low. Adown affection's cloudless sky. I love that line. Adown affection's cloudless sky. They don't write songs like that anymore. It matters little now, Lorena. The past is in the eternal past, and our heads will soon lie low, Lorena. Life's tide is ebbing out so fast. A cheery little tune. There is a future, oh thank God, of life. This is so small a part, and 'tis dust to dust beneath the sod. But there, up there, 'tis heart to heart. Yeah. Lorena. Now that's a tearjerker, isn't it? No. You won't, no, you can sit over right next to me. I had a guy one time at a retirement home that every time I showed up, he insisted on sitting right next to me. And I was okay with it. His name was Carl. Carl and I became good friends. But he just had this thing about having to, and he'd kind of hum along with the songs. But it was really fun. So I don't know, but when you've been in the music business as long as me, you've pretty much seen it all. But I miss Carl. I really do, actually. So maybe you'll be my Carl today. Oh, don't make you sing, right? All right. Well, I'm gonna do one more song on the guitar right now, and I'll come back to it later. And then I'm gonna play my little squeeze box, so we'll get that going a little bit here. I just eventually make it to all these things. Now I did bring my musical saw. That was actually being played back in this era, and so I'll probably do a little tune after I do this one. We'll kind of switch it up a little. I'll do a little tune for you, and then I'll play that game I always do with my humanities programs, and it's called Name That Tune. And if I can play this on a saw, maybe you can. So you're gonna have to wait for that, folks. You know, don't forget to get some cake, you guys. It's all free. There's water. If you're thirsty, please. These nice folks will help you out. Okay. So this was a song that apparently was one of Abe Lincoln's favorites. This one came out of 1855, and it was kind of an interesting story, real quick, because back in, of course, the 1850s, a lot of the white songwriters, you know, would borrow melodies from the African American community and claim it as their own. But not Septimus Winter. This guy was one of the most famous and popular songwriters of the age. And he gave full credit to a black guy named Richard Milburn, who was apparently an accomplished street musician, former slave. Apparently he was a professional whistler. And doggone it, I wish we would have had the technology back in 1855 to have recorded this version of Listen to the Mockingbird. This is one of the more famous songs of that era. And apparently this was, again, some of my songbooks mention that Abe Lincoln was especially fond of this one. Probably not his favorite song. I'll be doing that one later. But this was one of his. Yeah. And do we totally know which were his favorites? I just wonder. You know, it might be open to interpretation. But if Abe was here at the ripe old age of 214 years, he might have a little something to say about it. You know, that's what I'm thinking. All right, now I got to get these songs in the right key or I won't have a voice left at 1 o'clock. That's one of the things about getting older. You have to take care of the voice. And I've learned, you know, I go see these modern musicians who, you know, were big stars in their 20s, and they're still singing the same songs in their 70s. And I'm sorry, it doesn't always work. You can just change the key, you'll be fine. Use a capo, whatever it takes. But don't you love the name Septimus Winter? What a great name for a guy. But he wrote this song, and he used the name Alice Hawthorne. I don't know why he didn't want to put his real name to this, but anyway. So this is a very iconic tune from 1855. And this one still shows up, and it goes like this. I'm dreaming tonight of my Hallie, sweet Hallie, sweet Hallie. I'm dreaming tonight of my Hallie, and the thought of her is one that never dies. Here we go, you can help me. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird. Oh, the mockingbird is singing o'er her grave. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird, still singing where the weeping willows wave. So that's your part. You can do this. Unless you're eating cake, then maybe you ought to win. She's sleeping tonight in the valley, in the valley, in the valley. She's sleeping tonight in the valley, and the mockingbird is singing where she lies. Here we go. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird. Oh, the mockingbird is singing our grave. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird, still singing where the weeping willow waves. Ah, well, I still can remember, can remember, can remember. Ah, well, I still can remember when we gathered in the cotton side by side. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird. Oh, the mockingbird is singing our grave. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird, still singing where the weeping willows wave. Was in the mild of September, of September, of September. 'Twas in the mild of September, and the mockingbird was singing far and wide. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird. Oh, the mockingbird is singing our grave. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird, still singing where the weeping willows wave. Oh, come on, one more. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird. Oh, the mockingbird is singing our grave. Listen to the mockingbird, listen to the mockingbird, still singing where the weeping willows wave. Well, this, yeah. There was a recording that came out, I think, in the 1940s of that song, and it had some guy whistling. And so when I play that for my senior audiences at the retirement homes, they all kind of remember the whistling. And they asked me if I can do that, and I'm like, no. No, but I have an ace, I have a backup plan, a plan B, because just because I can't whistle doesn't mean I can't make a sound like a whistle. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my song, little cutting edge folk music. It's Mary's favorite. Anyway, we're going to play a little game. I'm going to play you the most famous melody. I'm going to sing it later, but I'm just going to play the melody on the song. This was the top-selling song of the 19th century. This song was so important that they banned it from both sides. They didn't let the bands play it because the soldiers would hear this song and they would go AWOL. And that's never a good thing if you're signed up to be a soldier, but in those days, you know, that could get you killed. So you didn't want to go AWOL. Anyway, so I'm going to it'll just take me a second to set this up. And like I've always told Mary from the Humanities Nebraska, a little saw goes a long way. So I'm only going to do one saw tune. So you're going to have to really concentrate to get this one. But I bet a lot of you will guess this in a couple of minutes. The other thing, well, I'll tell you the other thing I looked up about this song when I'm finished playing it on the song, because it's kind of an interesting story. You know, history can be so fascinating because when you kind of delve into it, you find all these really interesting little stories. And this particular song has a very interesting kind of background to it. So just give me a second and I will play you the tune for the day, the top-selling song of the 19th century, banned during the Civil War. you know, people heard these songs in the old days and they would get very emotional. So I'll be right back.
I should have known that. I didn't even think about it. I like scratching out.
By the way, folks, I hope you'll still be here. My good friend David Marsh will be performing music at 1:30 to 3, so he kind of gets the mop-up duty. So I'm his opening act. I'm here from 11 to 1, but I hope there'll still be people here to listen to David because he does a wonderful, wonderful take on a lot of these songs. Some of them are going to be the same I'm doing, but we have, there's so many to choose from that they won't all be exactly the same. So, and he does not play the saw, but he does some instruments I don't play, like a baron, a drum that he does some really cool stuff on. He's got his auto harp. He's got a banjo. I'm going to do the dulcimer, which is my banjo, and I'll be getting that out in a little bit here. But, so I'll do this, and then I'm going to play some squeeze box for you. Dave plays an accordion too. I play the simple one because I always tell people I only have an 8th grade education. Because after 8th grade, I just checked out. I knew I was going to be a singer, so I didn't care about algebra and all that stuff. I just was trying to push you, David. There he is. Yeah, all right, you heard me. I said nothing but good stuff, David. So the saw was around in the 1850s, 1860s, and there's actually a few people that take this very seriously. I'm not one of them, but it is a unique instrument that goes way back. We think that well, the Germans and the Swedes both take credit for kind of coming up with this idea, and maybe the Swedes because it was maybe involved with the logging camp. But somebody, we don't know a lot about it, somebody figured out that you could get a melody out of a saw. And so I'm going to play you the most famous song from the 19th century, the top-selling song. It may not be the most famous, but and you're going to tell me the name of this tune. But you got to wait until I'm done. I'm going to play the whole version. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's your chance to show us how much you know. By the way, this song was written in 1823, so by the time the Civil War rolled around, it was already very well known. All right, here goes.
Hi guys, how are you? Good, you guys have your second no place like home.
The top-selling song of the 19th century. Anybody guess the name of that one? Of course you did. I had people raise their hand. Home Sweet Home, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the story I was going to tell you. This is funny. I looked this up and it's hilarious. So the most famous song about home was written by two guys. One of the guys never had a permanent address, so he was considered homeless, in a matter of speaking. And the other guy who wrote the music, and I don't remember their names, I could tell you, but it doesn't matter. He was considered a home wrecker because he liked to date married women. So the most famous song about home, you got a guy who was a home wrecker kind of guy and a guy who was never had a permanent address. And that's why I love history. You can't make that stuff up, can you, Dave? So there it is. And that's all the saw you're going to get right now, folks, because again, a little saw goes a long way. Okay, I'm going to get my little squeeze box out, and I'm going to play what is widely considered Abraham Lincoln's favorite song. And Susan will tell you all about it back in the back there. And I wonder if you can, while I'm getting this ready, I wonder if you can imagine what Abraham Lincoln's favorite song might be. The melody was first brought into the world in 1855. In 1859, there was a very famous version put to this melody. And then in 1861, one of our famous songs written by a woman. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'll be right back and we'll do it. I have to put my saw away in a very special place because I don't want anybody getting hurt. Nothing wrong with too much cake, is there? Well, you probably have your reasons.
What would make sense and
It doesn't have any water.
You could also get my card, of course. Yeah. I'm having film stuff over here, but
Now, if you stick around and listen to David Marsh later, he's got a piano accordion. He's very accomplished, and he can do a lot more on that than I can, because I can only play this in one key. It's like a harmonica with bellows. Yeah. But back in the 1850s, 1860s, that's kind of what you had. So this is actually called a melodeon, or a squeeze box, so the actual title is Melodeon. And they're still being played. If you go down to Louisiana, you'll see people playing a version of this. I can't do their kind of music because it's too fast. Cajun music. So, all right. I kind of got you all ready to go on this one. So I bet once I start, I'll play the melody through once just so I can make sure I'm doing the right song. And what I thought I would do would be play a few of the original, well, not the original, but a few of the lady whose song this is the one that Abe Lincoln liked a lot. And then I'll do a few of an earlier version that came out a few years before that. I got to be careful I don't give it away. I'm ready to tell you the name of it, but you're going to know this. So here goes nothing, folks. have seen the coming of the glory of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath were stored. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Help me out now. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. He has been the faithful lightning from the evening dews and damps. I have read his righteous sentence from the evening dews and damps. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. So Julia Ward Howe wrote those lyrics in 1861. And she submitted it to a famous magazine in the day, and she got $10 for that. Nowadays, $10 I think is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $240, $250 bucks. But of course, that became a very famous song, and again, one of Abe Lincoln's favorites. 2 years earlier, in 1859, I'll sing you a few verses from this version of the same melody. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. His soul is marching on. He's gone to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. He's gone to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. He's gone to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. His soul is marching on. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. His soul is marching on. I'll do one more. The stars above in heaven, they are looking kindly down. The stars above in heaven, they are looking kindly down. The stars above in heaven, they are looking kindly down on the soul of old John Brown. One more time. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. His soul is marching on. Let's do the Abe Lincoln one. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. And there you have it. Sorry, I made you wait.
I'm gonna be fan about it.
What are we doing here?
I'm just gonna remind people of the impersonation.
All of this? Okay.
Yes.
So you're ready for me?
I'm ready.
Okay, I've got a few announcements, ladies and gentlemen. You have half an hour, that's 30 minutes by my book, to enter the Abe Lincoln Impersonators Contest. So come on, folks. You can do this. Get your beard on and we're going to have fun with it. Every contestant wins a free admission to the museum. And really, this is such a treasure. You guys were so lucky here in Lincoln to have this museum. And they do such a great job. Mick Hale and all the staff really do a fabulous job. So you'll win a free admission to the museum and a pin from Homestead National Historic Park, another incredible gem that we have that's just a short drive down to Beatrice. Those folks just do a wonderful job. And remember now, it's no longer the monument, it's the Homestead National Historical Park. You don't want to mess that up. And the prizes include a cool notebook. Diane's got it up here, Diane Gonzalez, who is one of our fearless leaders, and a book and puppy from Susan Dittman. Now, Susan Dittman has wrote that beautiful book, a couple of books about Abraham Lincoln, and you want to check her out. And there it is, The Puppy and the Book. All ages are welcome to become an Abe Lincoln. So you don't have to be a real tall 6'4" person, you know, with a beard to be Abe Lincoln. You can be 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet tall. You can do it. Okay? So there's that information. And sign up now. If you want to do this, you got to sign up at the info desk over here by the elevators as when you came up. And the judging will be at 12:30. So you got, now it's probably 29, 28 minutes to get this going. So please, once again, only a short time to get yourself entered in the Lincoln Impersonators Contest. The judging will be at 12:30, and you've got all these great prizes. So thank you, Don. Excellent. All right, that's cool. Very good. We really appreciate you guys coming down today. You know, there's so much going on nowadays on the weekends that it's just amazing to me how many activities there are. So we're very thrilled that you guys chose to spend a little time with us here today. We're doing this again. We hadn't done this Abe Lincoln celebration for several years for obvious reasons, and this is our first time here at the History Museum. And they've been so helpful with us. There's so many people. The humanities have been great. There's just a lot of people to thank. Yeah, so just really appreciate you guys being out. And I'm going to do a few more tunes on the accordion, or the melodeon, I should say. Well, I bought this melodeon. I keep wanting to call it accordion. I bought this in 1976. But I've had to change out the bellows 2 times. So they're new bellows, but the rest of it, you can do that with these little ones. Although nowadays, a set of bellows like this will cost you close to like $200. So, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And I think that's what I paid for the instrument back in 1976. So here's a song that came out towards the end of the war in 1864. Another George Root tune. I started my program out with Rally Round the Flag. That was one of his. This is another one. Very famous melody. Dave Marsh was mentioning to me that it's the melody to some other tunes. But this was the one that George Root came up with. And it's one that a lot of the Union soldiers would have known well. It's called Tramp, Tramp, Tramp. And it's a challenge to play on the melodeon, but I'm up for it. I'm going to give it my best. So again, I will play the melody, see if I can get it in my head, and then I'll sing it to you. Cell I sit, thinking, Mother dear, of you, and a bright and happy home so far away. And the tears, they fill my eyes, spite of all that I can do, though I try to cheer my comrades and be gay. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching. Cheer up, comrades, they will come. The starry flag, we shall breathe the air again. of the free land in our own beloved home. In the battlefront we stood when their fiercest charge they made, and they swept us off 100 men or more. But before we reached their lines, they were beaten back dismayed, and we heard the cry of victory, o'er and o'er. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching. Cheer up, comrades, they will come. And beneath the starry flag, we shall breathe the air again of the free land in our own beloved home. Within the prison cell, we are waiting for the day that shall come to open up the iron door. And the hollow eyes grow bright, and the poor heart almost gay, as we think of seeing home and friends once more. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching. Cheer up, comrades, they will come. And beneath the starry flag, we shall breathe the air again of the free land in our own beloved home. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching. Cheer up, comrades, they will come. And beneath the starry flag, we shall breathe the air again of the free land in our own beloved home. That was a very famous song. George Root. Yeah. Thank you. Kind of a catchy little tune, I think. Okay. Well, I've got a couple more I'll do for you on the accordions or the melodeon. And then I might take just 5 minutes to, oh gosh, well, maybe not. You know, the time just flies by when you're having fun. So I've only got about 45 minutes left, so we'll just keep going. Why not? Oh, it'll be over before you know it. Anyway, just want to remind everybody at 1 o'clock we're gonna sing Happy Birthday. Kind of have a little celebration briefly. There's still plenty of cake. There's lots of water to wash the cake down. And I bet they'll even let you go back for seconds if you just... How's that cake, guys? Pretty good? I bet it is. Oh, yeah. Just save me a piece, will you, folks? Just save me a piece. Thank you. Yeah, just a little. I don't need much. Mary's going to keep me a piece back. Yeah. All right. So this one came out in 1853, and this is... I've been kind of picking on the north side, so the Southerners loved this tune, but it became a very, very popular song after the Civil War. And this one, I've always loved to play on the accordion, or the melodeon. Again, all of these tunes are kind of a challenge for a melodeon player. For those of you that don't know, it's a different note depending on which way you're going with the bellows. So if I push in on this button, pushing in, there's your G. Same button pulling out as an A. So not only do I have to push the right button, but I have to be going the right direction with the bellows. That's the challenge. Now David Marsh, when he plays his accordion later, he doesn't have to think about that because it's the same note depending on which direction he's going with the bellows. So that's the advantage of the modern accordion as opposed to these little button accordions. But like I said, it's kind of like a harmonica with bellows. That's basically what, and if you know anything about harmonica, you know you have to do that too. You have to blow in and suck out to play those. So, okay. So anyway, this is one that Many years ago when we were doing this Abe Lincoln event over at one of the high schools, I got a whole bunch of people dancing to this one. And so that was kind of fun. I'm not sure how that's going to work on the carpet up here, because we had a wood floor over there, or tile or something. Anyway, this was a favorite among the Southerners, and again, after the war, it became one of America's favorite songs. It's called "The Yellow Rose of Texas." There's a yellow rose of Texas that I am going to see. No other fella knows her, no other but me. She cried so when I left her, it like to break my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more shall part. She's the yellowest rose of color a fellow ever knew. Her eyes are bright as diamonds, they sparkle like the dew. You may talk about your dearest May and sing of Rosalie, but the yellow rose of Texas beats the bells of Tennessee. There's a yellow rose of Texas that I am going to see. No other fellow knows her, no fellow, only me. She cried so when I left her, I'd like to break my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more shall part. So you notice I have to do a lot of bellowing on that one. Oh, now I'm going to find her, for my heart is full of woe. And we'll sing the song together we sang so long ago. We'll play the banjo gaily, and we'll sing the songs of yore. And the yellow rose of Texas shall be mine forevermore. There's a yellow rose of Texas that I am going to see. No other fellow knows her, no fellow, only me. She cried so when I left her, I'd like to break my heart. And if I ever find her, we never more shall part. From 1853. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Okay, I got one more on the accordion and melodeon, and then I'm going to get my dulcimer out and play you some popular songs on the dulcimer. Now, I don't play the banjo anymore, so my dulcimer has kind of become my banjo. But stick around, because David Marsh, who will be here from 1:30 to 3, is a virtuoso banjo player. He does a great job on the banjo, and so if you got to have your banjo fixed today, I'm giving you your squeeze box fix, but if you need a banjo fix, you'll have to come back and see David. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of bad jokes about accordions and banjos. It's okay. It's all right. You know, you got to have thick skin to play these instruments, right? Anyway, I'll do one more on the accordion, melodeon. This is one that was written at the end of the Civil War by a guy named Walter Kittredge in 1864. And I love this song. And I used to always play this on guitar, but I think it sounds kind of cool on the melodeon, so I'm going to give it a shot. I can't guarantee how it's going to sound, but I'm going to try. And it's a tune called "Tenting on the Old Camp Ground." and then we'll get the dulcimer out. We're tenting tonight on the old campground. Give us a song to cheer our weary hearts, a song of home and friends we love so dear. Many are the hearts that are weary tonight, wishing for the war to cease. Many are the hearts that are looking for the right to see the dawn of peace. Tenting tonight, tenting tonight, tenting on the old campground. And tenting tonight on the old campground, thinking of days gone by, of the loved ones at home that gave us the hand, and the tear that said goodbye. Many are the hearts that are weary tonight, wishing for the war to cease. Many are the hearts that are looking for the right to see the dawn of peace. Tenting tonight, tenting tonight, tenting on the old campground. We are tired of war on the old campground. Many are dead and gone. Of the brave and true who've left their homes, others been wounded long. Many are the hearts that are weary tonight, wishing for the war to cease. Many are the hearts that are looking for the right to see the dawn of peace. Tenting tonight, tenting tonight, tenting on the old campground. I've got one more now. We've been fighting today on the old campground. Many are lying there. Some are dead and some are dying. Many are in tears. Many are the hearts that are weary tonight, wishing for the war to cease. Many are the hearts that are looking for the right to see the dawn of peace. Tending the night, tending the night, tending on the old campground. Tending the night, tending the night, tending on the old campground. That's such a cool song, but it's a very heartbreaking song.
I sing it for reenactment funerals,
I bet you do. Yeah, that'll bring a tear to your eye.
and they put in dying tonight in that last one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's probably good. Yeah, I bet.
But this is an upbeat.
Well, yeah. It's okay. It's all right. All right, I'm going to get my, we're going to do a little more upbeat music here on my dulcimer. And I'm going to play you some period music, a couple of famous songs from the era from the 1840s into the 1860s. One of them actually mentions Abe Lincoln. And just want to remind you folks, there's plenty of cake, there's water. We're almost to the point where we've got, it looks like 4 minutes before the judging begins for the Lincoln impersonating. Hopefully we get some people that tried to do that. I'm guessing, Mary, that women could do that too. Why couldn't there be there's a girl right now. Good. I love it. See? Yeah, we're living in a different age now, and that's a good thing. We are going to have a woman president. I hope it's in my lifetime. Yeah, we've come close, haven't we? Anyway, I've got about a half hour to go. I'm going to keep playing till 1 o'clock. We'll take a little break, have some happy birthday celebration for Abe. He's 214 this year, you guys. 214 years old. If my math is correct, he was born in 1809, so I think that means he's 214. I wasn't very good at math in the old days, but anyway, yeah. And then at 1:30, my good friend and a very, very fabulous musician in his own right, a legend in his mind, a rumor in his time, Mr. David Marsh will be performing some of the same tunes that I played, but I'm sure he has a different take on a lot of this stuff. And David will be here from 1:30 to 3, and I get to eat cake and walk around and check out all these great displays. We got to tell you guys, thank you so much for coming out and spending a little time with us. You have a lot of choices nowadays of things to do, so it's really, really gratifying that we got you guys. We weren't able to do this event for several years because of COVID, so I wasn't sure if it was ever going to come back, Mary. But here it is. Thanks to you and Wayne Bowles and Diane and all the nice people here at the History Museum, Mick Hale, all the good folks, Ashley. I could keep going on and on, but anyway, we're just thrilled that we've been able to do this again. Want to thank all the nice folks at LNK-TV for broadcasting this. Austin is the fellow behind the camera, so if you don't like the way I look, you can blame him. Yeah, I can't help it. I am who I am. Anyway, I'll be right back. Going to do some dulcimer music, play you some familiar tunes. So keep going around. There's plenty of displays, people that are more than happy to answer questions you might have. We really appreciate the kids from Lincoln High being here. That's the school I went to. Of course, that's the reason I am who I am, because of being a student at Lincoln High School. Class of 1972. Yeah, baby. Yeah, and you thought we were all gone. No way, man. We're still here.
It's time for the impersonators.
Okay. All right, it's 12:30. We got to get that going, guys. Time for the impersonators. They're gonna. I think they're all winners, aren't they? Though, really. I mean, if you guys are brave enough to try to look like Abraham Lincoln, I'd give you a prize. By golly. Yeah, that wouldn't stop me. Okay, so I've got a few tunes that are kind of famous that people play on the dulcimer. It used to be banjo tunes. If you want to hear the banjo, you got to stick around at 1:30. We got David Marsh will be doing that. But meanwhile, you still got me to deal with. I'm going to play you one of the most famous songs from the middle part of the 19th century. This song is one of our classic tunes from that era. And they were certainly singing this during the Civil War because it remained popular for many decades. And written by one of our great songwriters, a fellow named Stephen Foster. I've got another song that's kind of a take on one of his. So I'll do a few of these and we're going to finish up with a couple more. I've got a beautiful spiritual tune from the African American community that I'm going to play, so I better get to these. So here's one of the most famous, just popular songs of the, came out in 1848. And there's actually lots of versions of lyrics written to this melody, but I'm going to sing you the original lyrics, just a couple of verses. It won't hurt you. And it goes like this. Can you hear that dulcimer okay? All right, here it is. Oh, I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Then I'm going to Louisiana, my Susanna for to see. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. Sun so hot I froze to death, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, now don't you cry for me. For I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Well, I had a dream the other night when everything was still. I dreamed I saw Susanna dear a-comin' down the hill. A buckwheat cake was in her mouth, a tear was in her eye. Says I'm coming from the south, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, now don't you cry for me. For I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, now don't you cry for me. For I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. All right, so that was a really, really popular song. Thank you. From 1848, and definitely was being sung and played in the 1860s. But here's another one. It goes back a little farther to the 1830s. But this was one of our most popular dance tunes from that era, and certainly again was played lots into the 1860s, 1870s. Even in recent years, people dance to this, do some clogging, and it's a great little tune. I've shortened it quite a bit because, you know, a lot of these old songs have 20, 30 verses, and so I'm not going to do all of those. Austin said I had a limit of only 3-4 verses a song, so yeah. And maybe Wayne, you were the one that told me that, but yeah, I'm going to get to Wayne's favorite song in a little bit here. Camptown Races. Yeah, we'll get to that one. But anyway, let's do this one. I'm sure there's a name attached to this, but I just play it. I'll kind of play it as an instrumental, and then I'll sing 2 or 3 verses. An old tune that a lot of you would remember. It's called Turkey in the Straw. And it sounds great on the dulcimer, but probably pretty Originally was played on a banjo for sure and a fiddle. But here we go. As I was going down the road with a tired team and a heavy load, I cracked my whip and the leader sprung. I says, "Day hay to the wagon tongue." Here we go now. Turkey in the straw, ha ha ha. Turkey in the hay, hey hey hey. Roll 'em up and twist 'em up high to the hog. Hit 'em with a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Lots of different ways of singing that chorus, that's how I do. So I went out to milk, but I didn't know how. So I milked me a goat instead of a cow. There's a grasshopper sitting on a pile of straw, winking his eye at my mother-in-law. Ever seen that? Here we go. Turkey in the straw, ha ha ha. Turkey in the hay, hey hey hey. Roll 'em up and twist 'em up high to the hog. Hit 'em with a tune called Turkey in the Straw. I'll do one more for you. So I came to a river, but I couldn't get across. So I paid $5 for a broken down horse. He wouldn't go ahead and he wouldn't stand still, but he went up and down like an old sawmill. That's right, here we go. Turkey in the straw, ha ha ha. Turkey in the hay, hey hey hey. Roll 'em up and twist 'em up high to the hog. Get 'em with a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Turkey in the hay, hey, hey, hey. Turkey in the straw, ha, ha, ha. Roll 'em up and twist 'em up high to the hog. Hit 'em with a tune called Turkey in the Straw. That was a very, 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 very popular tune back in the day. Okay, a couple more real quick ones on the dulcimer. I'll get to yours in just a second, Wayne. But this is one that is an old tune called, let's see if I wrote that down. I might have. It's called Going Back to Alabama or something like that. And, Abe Lincoln used this in his campaign for the president in 1860. Down in Alabama was the name of this melody. It's kind of a famous old melody. Yeah, thank you for that. My little granddaughter loves to just grab my instrument. Someday they'll all be performers, you know. Anyway, this one, it's not, it's just kind of an interesting little tune that I like to do for this. And so this is one of the few songs that I actually do that mentions Abe Lincoln. Okay? Yeah. And so this version is called Old Abe Lincoln Came Out of the Wilderness. And it goes like this. Old Abe Lincoln came out of the wilderness, out of the wilderness, out of the wilderness. Old Abe Lincoln came out of the wilderness many long years ago. Many long years ago. Many long years ago. Old Abe Lincoln came out of the wilderness many long years ago. Old Jeff Davis, he tore down the government. Tore down the government, tore down the government. Old Jeff Davis, he tore down the government many long years ago. Many long years ago. Many long years ago. Old Jeff Davis, he tore down the government many long years ago. But old Abe Lincoln, he built back a better one, built up a better one, built up a better one. Old Abe Lincoln, he built up a better one many long years ago. Many long years ago, many long years ago. Old Abe Lincoln, he built up a better one many long years ago. Remember what tune I'm playing. Old Abe Lincoln came out of the wilderness, out of the wilderness, out of the wilderness. Old Abe Lincoln came out of the wilderness many long years ago. Last time, many long years ago, many long years ago. Old Abe Lincoln came out of the wilderness many long years ago. So that's kind of a famous old melody. The only song I know that actually mentions Abe Lincoln. Okay, I got one more on the dulcimer, and then I've got a very beautiful tune that comes from the African American tradition. My friend Wayne Bowles always wants me to do this one. One more Stephen Foster song for all you horse people out there. This is all about a famous horse race called the Camptown Races. So when this came out in 1850, of course, this one's very, very famous. And most people at least know the chorus on this one, right? So a little bit of Camptown Races. Camptown ladies sing this song, doo-da, doo-da. Camptown racetrack 5 miles long, oh, doo-da day. Come down there with my hat caved in, doo-da, doo-da. Go back home with my pocket full of tin, oh, doo-da day. Gonna run all night, gonna run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail neck, somebody bet on the bay. The long-tailed filly and the big black horse, doo-dah, doo-dah, fly the track and they both come across, oh, doo-dah day. Now the hind horse shaking in a big mud hole, doo-dah, doo-dah, can't touch bottom with a 10-foot pole. Oh, doo-dah day. Gonna run all night, gonna run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail neck, somebody bet on the bay. Old muley cow came onto the track, doo-dah, doo-dah. Bobtail fling her over his back, oh, doo-dah day. Then fly along like a railroad car, doo-dah, doo-dah, running a race with a shooting star, oh, doo-dah day. Gonna run all night, gonna run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail neck, somebody bet on the bay. Got one more verse. See the flying on a 10-mile heat, doo-dah, doo-dah. Round the rest, take them repeat, oh, doo-dah day. I win my money on a bobtail fly, doo-dah, doo-dah. I keep my money in an old tote bag, oh, doo-dah day. Gonna run run all day. I bet my money on the bobtail nag. Somebody better don't beg. All right. That's Wayne Bowles' favorite song. I don't know if he was here to hear it. Oh, there he is. He's back in the back. Yeah, he's talking to me. I shouldn't mention his name. He's on TV. All right. I got time for a few more folks. Just real quick, and in just a little bit, we're going to have I'm going to get to sing Happy Birthday to Abe Lincoln. And, of course, he is 214 years old this year. So that's pretty exciting. So we'll have a little celebration, do that, and announce our winners of the impersonator contest. And don't forget, one of my favorite musicians, and a nice guy actually, on top of that, a legend in his mind, a rumor in his time, and I wish I had his hair. You know, we do the best we can. But unfortunately, I'm doing the Ben Franklin. Dave's going to always have a nice, good, thick head of hair. David Marsh, ladies and gentlemen, will be here at 1:30. And so he'll be doing some of the same material, but a lot of new takes on different stuff. He's going to play a few different instruments that I don't have, so that's always exciting. So I'm going to do a quick tune on the concertina, not a very fast one. And then after that, I'll finish up with just a couple more on the guitar. And then we'll get ready for our birthday song. So I'll be right back. This 2 hours is going by way too fast, Mary. Wow. Well, I hope this audition is going well. Maybe you'll keep me. Maybe you'll keep me on the roster. I don't know. You know, sooner or later, Mary, I'm going to get somebody that doesn't like me. You can't please everybody. I go, well, if you get more than one, then you start being concerned. I hear you. I hear you. So this is a beautiful, this is one of my favorite songs from that era, and this comes from the African American tradition, a song that goes back, I think, even before the 1850s. It's a little, and I like to just do this on the concertina. I do a very simple arrangement. It's called "Oh Freedom," and I just love this song. So I'll do this one, and then I've got just a couple more for you after this. David's getting ready. Are you staying awake, dude? Well, yeah, you usually don't sleep long anyway.
Before I retire.
Are you getting 8 hours nowadays? Good for you. I wish I could. Anyway, this is a little bit of "Oh Freedom." Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more weeping, no more weeping, no more weeping over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. They'll be singing, they'll be singing over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. One more. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Thank you very much. I've got time for just a couple more. And I'm going to be done here at 1 o'clock, so yeah, I've got time. If I keep moving, if I don't talk too much, which is always a problem with me, isn't it, Mary? Oh, it's okay. So, yeah, let's think of one that's kind of fun. I've got some kids in the audience. You might get a kick out of this little number. This is a song that wasn't published till right at the end of the Civil War, but became really popular after the Civil War. But it tells an interesting story of what a lot of the Southerners were forced to eat towards the end of the war as they were losing, and of course that would be goober peas. And you all know what a goober pea is, right? That's just another name for a peanut. And down in Georgia, they grow a lot of peanuts. One of our presidents, Jimmy Carter, I think was a peanut farmer. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to play my version of Goober Peas, and then we'll see how much time I have today. If I have time for one more, I don't want to keep the show, delayed. And I'll be right back. I'm going to do this on my mandolin. I gotta say, it's so great that you guys showed up today. You know, there's lots of things you could be doing today, but we really appreciate you taking the time to come down here and be a part of this event. So many people to thank, and we'll get to that later. But so many good people involved in this, and I'm just happy that we got to do this again, and I'm really thrilled that my friend David Marsh will get to be a part of this as well. I've been a part of this for every darn one of these. I always tell people, I was about 5 years old when I started. So, yeah, I'm only 25. Is that right? I gotta make sure I'm in the right key. Sitting by the roadside on a summer's day, chatting with my messmates, passing by the way, lying in the shadow underneath the trees. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. Now when a horseman passes, the soldiers have a rule to cry out at their loudest, "Mister, here's your mule." But another pleasure enchantinger than these is wearing out your grinders, eating goober peas. Sometimes the mouth just doesn't work. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. Just before the battle, the general hears a row. He says the Yanks are coming. I can hear their rifles now. He turns around in wonder, and what do you think he sees? the Georgia militia eating goober peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. I think my song has lasted almost long enough. The subject's interesting and rhymes are mighty rough. And when the war is over and we're free from rags and fleas, we'll kiss our wives and sweethearts while eating goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. Peas, 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 eating goober peas. Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. Gotta milk that a little. All right, I got time for one more. At least by my clock. Real quick here. It's really getting close. So I had one I wanted to do for you that I'm going to leave you with. Gosh, it's been a real honor to be a part of this event today, I got to tell you. And so I'm going to get my guitar up real quick and do this little tune, and then we'll have our big celebration. Stick around. David Marsh will be up in just a little bit. One more, but maybe we're done.
No, go ahead. I'm just going to ask you if we can tilt the microphone when you're ready.
Oh, absolutely.
You guys like me? Have some voice.
You're going to be just fine. So now when I need my pick, there it is. All right, we're going to leave you with this little rousing tune that was came out in 1865 at the end of the war. And I always just like singing this one. It's called Marching Through Georgia. And this will be my last song. Bring the good old bugle, boys, we'll sing another song. Sing it with a spirit that will start the world along. Sing it as we used to sing it, 50,000 strong, while we were marching through Georgia. Hurrah, hurrah, we'll bring the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, the flag that makes you free. So we sang the chorus from Atlanta to the sea, while we were marching through Georgia. How the people shouted when they heard that joyful sound. How the turkeys gobbled, which our commissary found. How the sweet potatoes even started from the ground, making you hungry, huh? While we were marching through Georgia. Hurrah, hurrah, we bring the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, the flag that makes you free. So we sang the chorus from Atlanta to the sea, while we were marching through Georgia. I'll do one more voice, or verse. One voice, of course. So we made a thoroughfare from Freedom Mender train, 60 miles in latitude, 300 to the main. Treason fled before us, for resistance was in vain, while we were marching through Georgia. One more. Hurrah, hurrah, we bring the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, the flag that makes you free. So we sang the chorus from Atlanta to the sea while we were marching through Georgia. Thank you, everybody. What a pleasure it's been to perform for you guys today. I mean that. Please stick around at 1:30. A fabulous musician in his own right. Oh, and he's blushing. Mr. David Marsh, and he's going to be playing some great music for you. So you want to catch that if you get a chance. And now I'm going to get ready to turn this over to the folks who are going to start this great celebration. And we're going to sing happy birthday, so I'm going to get my accordion out to do that. So let me get out of the way here for a second. Yeah, I'm going to put a little cover on it so she doesn't feel like she's having to worry about it. Hold on, Ashley. Come on over. I've got this set up for you. But let me just get my stuff out of the way. Long enough with this on, so I'll protect it. Okay, now, you know how to use the mic.
Yes.
Thank God. Because I haven't always done that. No, I don't care about that, but just take it. I hear people do this. And nobody can hear me. So, you're ready to go. Grab my melody and get out of the way.
We're gonna announce.
Right, I know. You just tell me when the time is. So this is already okay. I know, I'm trying to move too fast.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. I just want to welcome everyone to our celebration. My name is Ashley Anderson, and I am the Curator of Education here at History Nebraska. And just real quick, can we all give it up for Chris Sayre one more time? So this has been a fabulous turnout, and I just want to make sure I thank everybody involved. So first, I want to thank History Nebraska staff, all of my awesome colleagues. I want to thank the celebration committee, the volunteers from Lincoln High, and other volunteers that are here today, and the donors who are making this celebration possible. And I want to, of course, recognize Humanities Nebraska for presenting both of our outstanding musicians today. So another round of applause for everyone involved. So Lincoln, Nebraska is very proud to be the largest city in the world named after President Abraham Lincoln, and this celebration is our opportunity to honor him and learn more about his life and his legacy. And if you all have not done so already, I invite you to go up to our third floor and check out the Smithsonian's American Democracy exhibit that we have just opened. It is a really great exhibit that examines the founding of our country and the continuing discussions discussing Lincoln's and the government's idea of what democracy is. So definitely check that out up on our third floor, and this exhibition will be open until May 20th. I also want to remind everyone to please give us your feedback on this year's celebration. So if you fill out the evaluation form, you will be entered into a drawing for a Laszlo's gift card. So thank you, Laszlo's, for that donation. And I also, one of the fun activities we did today was a Lincoln Impersonators Contest. So at this time, I would like to introduce our Chief Judge, Paul Hadley, and he's going to announce the awards and winners. So, to you, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Would like to have our top 5 finalists come into this area here. Lila, come forward, please. Okay. And then stand right there. Stand right there, Lila. Okay. We're missing our fifth contestant. There he is. All right. So these folks, brave and true, are all going to receive free admission for return visits to Nebraska History Museum right here. They get a pin and a sticker from the Homestead National Historic Park. And now for the moment you're all waiting for. Oh, yes. The prizes are going to be awarded by former Mayor Don Wesley, who was the originator of this hallowed event. We really appreciate him. There he is. So, first of all, we're going to do the adult readers. First, we have Luke Farron. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Okay. She won the prize for best reading. Okay. So she receives a notebook from the Homestead Monument Park. For best natural beard, that's Eduardo. Congratulations. He received a notebook from Homestead Park. Okay. And now, the children's division, we have Charlotte May as most creative costume, and she receives a t-shirt from Visit Lincoln and a book from Susan Dittman about Abe Lincoln and his puppy Fido. That's it, what you're doing there? For the best reading, we have Lila Shower. She receives a t-shirt from Visit Lincoln and a book from Susan Dittman about his puppy dog Fido. And for youngest contestant, Jonah Cooper, he receives a t-shirt from Visit Lincoln and a book and the puppy Fido from Susan Dittman. I think he likes that. Thank you everyone who competed. It was a lot of fun. We'll see you next year.
She's under control, man.
All right, so congratulations to all of our winners. Today's celebration is dedicated to the memory of Chicago actor Michael Krebs, a nationally acclaimed Abraham Lincoln portrayer. Michael had appeared at this celebration 4 times, and he was scheduled to return this year, but sadly Michael passed away 2 weeks ago. So we would like to dedicate this celebration to him, and it has been the tradition of this celebration to sing happy birthday to our Abe Lincoln portrayer, and we know that Michael would want us to continue with that tradition. So please help us honor Michael and President Lincoln by singing along with Chris Sayre.
Okay, guys, now I play this a little differently, so I'm going to play it through once. I do it as a polka, not as a fast waltz. Okay, so I'm going to play it through once, and then we'll sing. So just wait till I start singing. So here it goes. This is because a lot of people get confused about this. I don't know why. And it goes like this. See, it's a polka. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Abe Lincoln. Happy birthday to you. I'll play it one more time.
Look at that cake.